So if you're in the market for the toughest truck available, this is it. This is the Ford Ranger Super Duty.
It's going to get the job done for you.
Axle, absolutely. Got a skid steer on this over plastic one. Yeah. Set up these things directly from factory, and then you also have turn assist. Righto, I'm up early, 5 AM, just like I would be any other day. Getting up, ready to go to work. Really got to take consideration into whose opinion you're taking on the Ranger Super Duty. Because it's built for blokes like me. We get up early, go to work in heavy industry every single day. I'm personally in earth moving, and I've been doing it for a long, long time. So I know what this truck's built for, I know it's who it's built for, and while every other journo's still in bed right now, whose opinion are you gonna take on this truck? I'm up here in the mountains right now in Victoria, showing you everything about the new Ranger Super Duty. So this is the all-new Ranger Super Duty, and I've been hanging for this thing to finally be released. I've done a few videos now. We went down to the design studio, spoke about the truck, but I think this right here is my favorite configuration, the space cab. Missed my space cab back when I was a teenager. I did have a space cab truck, and I just absolutely love them, just for the versatility of having that extra tray space, but then having some room behind the back of the seat to maybe set up a fridge or something like that. Super Duty stamped in the front there of the bonnet, and I think that's a big design feature that I actually love on the Super Duty, is that stamping on the bonnet. It kind of gives it that official badge that it's earned, and it has earned it. I mean, some of the stories we've heard from the engineers and the Ford, just all these departments that have worked together on this thing and what they've achieved, it has achieved that Super Duty nameplate. So Super Duty does have a steel bumper from factory. We do have fog lights just down here in the front. This center section here is plastic, but you do have holes in that just underneath that where it is actually steel, and then you can put lights and UHF antennas, those sorts of things up the front if that's what you kind of need to do. The grille here, way more cooling on this Ranger 3-litre V6 than the standard Ranger, so they've just kind of opened that grille up there to get a bit more airflow through it, make it cool a lot better. Down in the bumper down here, you do have your radar cruise control, big bash plate under there, rated recovery points for the vehicle, which is always great. Can't put a winch in this bumper, but if you wanted a winch, you just go to ARB and they have a bar ready that's winch compatible for this thing. So it does have a winch, steel cable winch down in there. Standard Ranger headlights coming around to the side. You can definitely see the flare increase of width on the track. Big snorkel here from Safari. Collaboration between Ford and Safari on the snorkel. Am I a fan of the snorkel? Yeah, I am. I don't like stainless snorkels. I think they look like downpipes on the side of your car, so I definitely do like this snorkel if I was going to get one with the big Super Duty badge there on the side of it. Big flares on this thing, which is great, especially for the extra wheel track. And coming up later in the video, we're going to dive deep into the actual components of the brakes and all the upper and lower control arms, suspension, all those sorts of things. So do have bigger mirrors here on Super Duty. So we do have some clear view options that are optioned on some of the vehicles we are driving, which is cool, which are telescoping and pull out and things like that. So they do actually good for towing. But the cab essentially is Ranger, same platform and everything is Ranger, but I'm stoked that Ford has actually given us space cab and single cab versions of this thing, not just dual cab, because I think this is going to be very popular in this style here with the tray and the space cab version. Down on the side here, you do have these side markers. That's for the extra width for compliance. Down here, you do have plastic running boards. So they feel a lot like tremor boards. They're probably the same boards or made out of the same composite or however they're made. Coming around the back, so do have a steel tray. This is a Ford factory tray on this thing with the Ranger Super Duty logo there on the back. So one of the biggest things I see online about Ranger Super Duty is it a wet belt? No, it's not a wet belt. It's a 3 litre V6. It's the same that's in the Ranger. Same engine, but it's been slightly detuned. But no, it is not a wet belt. The only Ford engine that was a wet belt was the bi-turbo, or the 2 litre turbo versions. And they've actually changed that up now. The bi-turbo is actually discontinued, and the 2 litre has now got a timing chain. So forget the wet belts. It's not a thing anymore, and I'm happy to say that. So another big concern that everyone's been talking about, as we look under the bonnet here at this 3 litre V6 turbo diesel, is this enough for this truck? Is it going to be able to tow? Well, you have to wait until the end of the video to find out about towing, but this is the 3 litre V6 turbo diesel, 154 kilowatts. It's been tuned at 3,250 RPM, 600 Newton meters at 750 RPM. And it is EU VI heavy duty emissions calibration. So you do have AdBlue on this thing. But I think a great thing about this too, especially for industry or farmers, is that you can actually have the regen of the DPF delayed if need be, in case you're in a situation where you could cause a fire, i.e. just like up here in the mountains, dry, coming into summer, you don't want to run that DPF. You can actually delay that from the internal screen in the Super Duty. So I think this unit here has also been optioned for the Pro Boost 40, which is a DC to DC charger. So how deep can this thing go in water? Well, when we built the track, I was hoping that my test would have filled up, but we actually got this thing into a dam, and it's 850 millimeters of wading depth this thing can actually go into. And the snorkel here, the Safari Ford partnership, this is a snorkel. It's not a raised air intake like many other manufacturers put on their vehicle. This is sealed, so you do have that protection there. But yeah, 850 millimeters, and it's also got diff breathers too, which is really important. And those diff breathers are nice and high on this vehicle to stop any water getting into those diffs. So another big thing people have been talking about is the payload and the towing capacity of the Ranger Super Duty. 4.5 ton of payload and 4.5 ton of towing with an 8 ton GCM. And you're going to see more of that later in the video when we actually do a GCM towing test.
Again, the trailer plays a massive role. The design of the trailer also can hinder on how the vehicle handles.
And we run this thing at full capacity and see how it goes. So I think one of the coolest things that Ford's actually done is the Ford Pro converter. So that program is basically allowing you to have your Ranger sent to a third-party manufacturer of trays and canopies and things like that, or service bodies, and have it directly put on your Ranger. And they have all the information they need to do it correctly. And I think the best part of that, of having that Ford Pro converter, is that you can just go straight ahead, get your tray, get your canopy, get everything built, manufactured, ready for when your vehicle arrives. So you're not sort of delaying it for 12 months, because when you get a new vehicle, it can take a long time to build your vehicle, especially if there's backed up workshops, things like that. But at least that way, when you're picking up your vehicle, you're ready to go to work. You're not sort of delayed month after month of getting a new vehicle, because that's how it's been in the past. You'd go and get a new vehicle or a new Ranger, go and order a tray and canopy, and then you got to wait to get a slot. And where this is kind of, that program is one of the best things I think's happened for the industry, as to where the manufacturer Ford is working with third-party suppliers for all these different tray options, because that's what we need. We need all these different options for different lifestyles, different work styles, different industries, and to be able to just get that put on your truck, ready to go, hooked up, ready for work, I think it's a great move by Ford. So I actually got some early access to the pre-production versions of this truck. When we went out to Fink there with the Ranger Raptor team, Racing Fink, got to spend a lot of time in a dual cab Super Duty, and it was just great to be part of knowing that they're still testing it, and they were testing it out there for towing and durability, and just cool to be part of that segment, because you don't really get to see that. You get to see a brand new vehicle, but you don't really get to see the ins and outs of what's actually going on there in the background. So it was cool to get a little glimpse of that. Righto, that's enough talking about the Ranger Super Duty. I'm ready to get out some tracks today. I'm going to go back, have some breakfast with all the other journos, have a coffee, and then we're going to go and get some serious work done and go and put this thing on the tracks and see what she's made of. That one got me puckering when I put the dozer down that hill, so it's going to be fun to put the Ranger, your Super Duty, down it. Pretty wild how chewed out the track's gotten. It's been very cool to see how that track's actually
chewed out, developing holes kind of where I put the blade tips in of the dozer. And I think one of the best things that I like about it is the trail control assist, to where it's like cruise control but for uphill. So you can set it and yeah, away you go. Take your foot off the accelerator and it'll just cruise up the hill itself, and yeah, it's quite cool. So right now we're in downhill descent control, or downhill assist, and we've got it set to 3 on the dash. And it's good because, like, just like you do with your cruise control, you can just set it, forget it, take your feet off the brake, off the accelerator, and we can just ease down this hill. So yeah, I think it's some really good tools that Ford is developing for Ranger Super Duty, Everest, that do help novices become way more confident in driving their four-wheel drives. And then also giving them the options to, like, okay, do it with some of the assisted things on the vehicle to get your confidence up, and then maybe try it yourself. But yeah, especially on hills like this, just letting the car do its thing, let the car do its work. And yeah, but it's getting pretty loose, this hill is. Cameras don't do this justice. But right now we're using the assist on the steering wheel here. So running at 6.5 because there's a big rock that's been kicked up from the last car, which I don't want to hit. I'm just letting the car do its thing. It's going to turn from side to side. And I think I'm the first one to get it stuck.
Time to go and put pedal to the metal and see if we can get up here.
Hey! Nothing like a bit of momentum, Jackie. Just need a little bit of a bump to get over that rock because it's getting super sharp, super dusty. But we all know how that talcum powder dust and these sharp rocks go, and we just dug ourselves 4 holes. So I just need a bit of a bump, and the trail assist just wasn't able to just bump me over that. Just because it didn't have enough throttle input, so I just gave us a little bump and away we go.
Anything solid in the bottom of this?
No.
That's just
No, we just drove straight through it. And
oh, it was just an existing.
yeah, it was just an existing dam, and me and James looked at it and go, "Do you reckon we'll go in there?" And he's like, "I don't know, we'll try it." So I put the excavator on that side, and then we just it drove straight through it. But so then I was like, right, I'll just put a little ramp on that side, and
Sweet.
yeah, righto, here we go. About to drive my own course. And it's been good because there's been a bunch of people already up here driving it, so it's like really, really well worn in. We're about to drop off into the dam here, and it's pretty deep. Does it with ease, very good. Drain the water out. This section here is for ramp over angle, approach and departure. Tried to get it right on the limit when I built this. Both diff locks are now off, and we've put the trail turn assist on. Through this switchback that I built, these 2 corners, try to get the front end of the vehicle to pull around when you go full lock on the steering. It'll break that inside rear wheel and help you turn. So we've got that engaged right now, and then I'll go full lock and it'll start to break that inside rear wheel. Just helps pull the nose around. Then we come back for a switch back the other way. the trail turn assist only works when you go full lock. I'm assuming that it uses some sort of sensor in the steering to know that it is actually on full lock. Now we're going to go and do some off-roading, so pretty excited. I haven't done a lot of the Vic high country stuff, and that's where we're about to take the Super Duty. This is going to be fun. So drop it in the comments. What colour combination and shape of cab are you going to get? Single cab, space cab? My favourite, single cab, looks pretty good. In the white, dual cab in the grey. Or do you make a mistake like I did and get a black a black vehicle? But plenty to choose from, and then traction green also coming next year as well. I know we have Mount Terrible Hut. Absolute incredible views. Got the Super Duties up here, no worries at all. But how's that? I haven't done a lot of Vic high country, so it's pretty cool to be up here today. So coming from someone who is in heavy industry, I do earth moving, that is my day-to-day job. I am not a journalist. Would I consider a Ranger Super Duty for my line of work? Going to work every day, being able to tow with it? Or would I rather something like my F250? I think just the benefits of this thing and its compact size and its ability to do what I would need it to do in that aspect of my day-to-day job, I really think that the Super Duty is where it's at. I think that I would actually get a Ranger Super Duty for that day-to-day work use scenario. Now, in saying that, Ranger Super Duty can't really do what my F250 can do. Yes, it can tow. Yes, it can carry a lot of weight. But the effortlessness of a 6.7 litre turbo diesel V8 definitely shows the men from the boys when it comes to towing. And I still think that I would rather, if I'm towing super heavy, I would be doing it with my 6.7 litre Super Duty F250 over the 3 litre Ranger V6. Put it that way. If I was going to tow heavy every single day, that's what I'd be doing. I suppose with the Ranger Super Duty, it's kind of hard to put my finger on what it feels like to drive. You can kind of say, oh, it feels like this to drive, or it feels like that, but it's got its very own distinguished feeling of the width and how it handles on the road and how it handles off-road, and yeah, it definitely does have its own place in the segment, that's for sure. But I'm really enjoying this thing. We are definitely in the high country today, and now Matt's driving, so I'm a bit... They said pick your line, and I was like, oh great.
Frantically scanning for the roughest bit of track.
How's the view? It's just such a pretty part of the world. So another cool feature on the Ranger Super Duty is front and rear diff locks, and you also have trail assist, which is for either going up hills or down hills. So Matt's just using the trail control at the moment.
So we're on 4k an hour at the moment, but what's cool about it is I can just, on the steering wheel here, now it's 3.5k, and you just feel it slow down at half k, back up to 4.5.
Have you got sight of all of us, Ben?
It's just nice and controlled too.
I'm just cresting the first hill.
A little bit of a step down here. Ah, this is where it's at. This is where it's at. How good is this? So I suppose a lot of people don't actually like snorkels on their vehicles, and the Super Duty comes with the Safari partnership with Ford snorkel standard, but to be honest, if I was going to put a snorkel on my vehicle, it would be a Safari or that style. I definitely don't like the downpipe style on vehicles, whether it's a stainless one or whatever, but coming to think of it, I haven't actually noticed the induction noise. Normally that's a pretty profound thing. When you do have a snorkel, you can hear the induction noise, but this has been great. I've had the window down a bunch while we've been on-road, off-road, and like I haven't subconsciously gone, oh, that's annoying. So I think the induction noise with this snorkel is quite good, and even though it does come with a snorkel, if you didn't want one, it's not going to be annoying you throughout your day-to-day. We're here with Drew, and he plays a massive role in the frame of this thing, mate, and you're going to take us through everything and all the changes that have been made compared to the Super Duty Ranger versus your regular Ranger, and what you have actually done to, well, it's not just a sticker pack or a lift kit or something like that. You have gone to town.
Definitely not. It's not springs and shocks. It's a lot more than that. So pretty much everything you see here, apart from your AdBlue tank, is new for the Super Duty.
Okay,
it's
yeah.
specifically been designed from the ground up, like literally from the ground up. Your 33-inch tyres, 18-inch rims, 18-inch brake package, 8 stud hubs, suspension, a lot of it, all specifically designed for the Super Duty, just to take that load, that 4.5 tonne that you've got there, but not just 4.5 tonne, 4.5 tonne off-road with that capability. So it just adds so much more stress to the whole system when you add that off-road capability.
It's only 6% of normal Ranger in this thing, isn't there?
Yeah. So the frames, that whole, specifically the frame, like it's such a big component, but only 6% of that's actually carryover from the base Ranger frame. So a couple of these engine mounts, body mounts, I should say. I think maybe that one, or one of these little the body mounts is carryover from Ranger. The rest of the frame is all unique. So it's up gauge, thicker steel, high strength steel, additional reinforcements, all the cross members are new and unique, the K-brace, everything, all been done specifically for this Super Duty to take those loads.
And we're coming up with a steel. Was there a plan to have a steel front bar on this over a plastic one?
Yeah, I really did want the steel bar. It was a big push from it. I think probably the thing I said to the studio was I want it to look like I can push over a tree trunk, so I can push over a tree trunk. Just like to take that ability and also to get that ground clearance as well, and that approach angle. Really want to have that steel bar up nice and high, and or something really pushed on to get all that packaged and still keep the steel bar.
Yeah, and you've got a bunch of holes and features here to be able to put things like lights and stuff on it directly from factory. You can just... want
it upfit, ready to go from the factory. So all these, when you got that cover on there, you get all the lights, so you could have your aerials, your bars, your spotties, all the rest of that. We tested with all that on there just to make sure it all fits and packages, and you still get your airflow into everything you need. Yeah,
so in the frame, there's actually like a size increase in the frame thickness compared to a normal Ranger?
It's up gauge, so it's thicker steel as well, and the box sections are larger as well. So some real good animations you can find online that just shows that size. When you see them go from one to the other, just see how much that grows in section is just huge. Yeah,
and then obviously looks like Raptor down here with these massive control arms, like top and bottom, and the knuckle and everything. And so obviously that is just absolutely heavy duty components down here.
It is. So we've got the same track as a Raptor, but it is all unique corners versus a Raptor. So those big lower control arms, like I said, that cast aluminium lower control arm, upper control arm, and knuckle, all cast aluminium there to get that track width. So it's not done through packers or offsets or anything like that. It's all done in the actual suspension geometry to get that track width growth. And then also, like, even the bottom mount of the shock there, let's try to keep that up nice and high, keep it clear for underground, so for your underrun and clearance and everything.
Yeah, especially for like mud and all those sorts of things getting jammed up in there.
Yep, try to keep it all clear.
Yep. And so when we go to the steering on this thing, what is the steering rack out of on this?
So it's based off a Bronco Raptor as well, so bigger steering gear to take that extra loads that you get. So obviously you go to the track, you're going to get bigger loads coming through it, and the torque loads and everything, so it's a bigger motor, bigger steering gear, just take those impacts. Okay,
and I heard that it's a Bronco front diff in this thing with upgraded internals too?
Yep, so Bronco front diff also, or Bronco Raptor I should say, not just the base Bronco, but the Bronco Raptor. And the high strength steel gearing inside that diff as well, just to get that torque load. So we talk a lot about the traction torque. So 4.5 tonne ton just to get that traction you get on the wheels. So that just puts so much load through your half shafts, diffs, prop shafts, transfer case, all that just gets those extra loads. So everything up gauge. Unfortunately, we haven't got the drive shaft here, but it's an absolute monster, single piece drive shaft, CVJ joints on it. So just absolutely huge. Take those loads.
Talk about bash plates, mate. So obviously the front one here is missing.
The front one, yep.
Missing off this, but what size are the bash plates? What thickness have you got on this thing?
Oh, so running, I think from like 2 plus on some of them, but most of them up to 3.5, and up to 4 on the fuel tank there. It's huge thickness on the fuel tank, and the fuel tank you can even see is double skin as well, not just a single skin.
Actually pivot the car off the fuel tank.
So that's it. It's what we call an enthusiast rating on that tank. So effectively, you can, if you're going over something and you get stuck up on a rock, you can take that load, and you're not going to deform that shield or the tank.
Oh, that's handy, because that's going to be a lot of situations where us as four-wheel drivers get hung up on those sorts of things, and to know that that's safe under there and not going to get ruptured is a great thing.
Yeah, so extending out that leaf spring, number of vans, just spreading the loads across the frame as well. You're getting such high loads obviously coming through all your pickup points, so just trying to spread those out. It gives you better dynamics as well, because you've got that longer spring, you get that more jounce and rebound in there, so you get a lot more travel out of this rear spring setup as well, just giving you that increased off-road performance also. And obviously those springs hooked up to that massive pumpkin in the centre there on the rear diff. So.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge.
Yeah.
And what vehicle's that out of?
So it's based off the Transit 2-ton Transit, so it comes down the same production line as a Transit diff.
Okay.
But then again, we upgraded the tubes, so thicker tubes, better connections, upgraded steel, just to take that off-road capability, and the 4.5-ton GVM with that traction torque again. Certainly a beast of towing, so huge tow bar, missing a couple of bolts here, but you can see the size of these. So you have normally 4 of these attaching the tow bar into the frame, so it's really integral part of the frame back here to stiffen up the whole thing, get that whole box section going. So yeah, 4.5 ton of towing with this tow bar here. And another bit that's missing is protection bars that come off the tow bar as well. But that gets clamped in obviously these rated recovery points, so they're missing off the front also. But yeah, 4 recovery points, 2 on the rear, 2 on front, so ready to go.
And full-size spare?
Full-size spare. Trying to package in a 33, you can see there, it fits in, but yeah, make sure we fit the full-size spare.
So one of the biggest aspects of Super Duty is obviously towing. So Ford has got a bunch of absolutely insane combinations here for us to test out today when it comes to towing. But we'll like to get one of these Super Duties back home, and we can do some testing myself with my big trailer and see what we can haul with that thing. But we've got a massive 4.5 ton trailer here full of hay bales, tri-axle, absolutely huge. What else have we got here? We've got a skid steer on this trailer here. Here we've got an excavator, scissor lift over there as well. So far, just the off-road capability of this truck, I'm so impressed with it. So when it comes to towing too, I also think that having the onboard scales and also having the hitch distribution and where you should actually have your trailer sitting is also a massive aspect to this Super Duty, and making sure that you're safe when you do hook up to this thing, you're safe when you do have your load on there, and making sure all those parameters that you should be aware of are in the right zones and you're not actually operating the vehicle dangerously. So it's great that it has those sorts of features built into it from factory. So we're about to go for a towing test now, me and Mad Matt. So we've got a Manitou here on the back of the trailer. So quite a substantial bit of iron, and our GCM is 6,560 kilograms.
Righto, my first time towing with the Ranger Super Duty, and I've got Mad Matt in the Super Duty with me. How much weight we got on the back?
650, 60, and then you and I in here, and we're lightweights.
Yeah, so we're probably
50 kilo each.
Yeah, easy. Yeah. We're both light 50s, so so we are up there. Put the thing in tow mode, and just now feeling my first experience of braking towards an intersection. You're right, it does feel really nice when it comes to the engine braking.
It feels like it's doing what it should.
Yeah. It definitely doesn't feel like I've got a Manitou skid steer behind me, and I've been in earth moving my whole life and moved a lot of pieces of equipment, and I'm quite impressed. But let's put our foot into it, getting up onto this highway. I got my foot flat to the floor, 61, 65, 70. We've also got 600 kilos of rock. And then we've got a B double that's trying to cut me off. As they do. Yeah, is it a powerhouse? No, like my F250 Super Duty would run rings around this thing, but again, 6.7 litres versus 3 litres. Mine's a V8, this is a V6. So it's yeah, it's quite different, but it doesn't feel like this thing is struggling to pull it. Yeah, it feels nice to tow the weight we're towing. It's not porpoising, it's not pulling forward and back as we're going down the highway, as you normally experience when you do sort of drive a Ranger with a fair bit of weight behind it. This thing does feel quite nice to be towing with.
So, question for you.
Yep.
If you bought this as a, you know, just as your tow pig, you didn't have your F truck, would you be tuning this to do towing?
It depends what I was towing. If I was towing heavy every day, if I was going to be towing something like this Manitou skid steer every day, probably not. Do we all want to tune our four-wheel drives? Yes. But because we can't help ourselves.
Yeah.
But I think if I was looking for a work truck, which is what this thing is, I think this is adequate to tow what I want to tow. It's designed to do a job, and it's doing it very well. So yeah, I don't think I'd tune this. Plus, I'd want to keep my warranty as well. So there's that.
I think if I was buying this as my touring rig, let's face it, at 100k an hour is 100k an hour, and if I'm going touring, I don't need to get up everywhere at, you know, warp speed 10.
Yeah.
I just want to get up the hills, and you know, I'm not in a screaming hurry, so I sort of feel like I probably wouldn't do much. If I did do something, it would be a very mild tune. It would be about all I'd do.
Yeah. Oh, I see that.
Yeah. Oh, because you're in tow mode.
Yeah, that's cool.
That is cool.
And those increases on the brake size are over your standard Ranger. So yeah, 15 in the front, 18 in the back in millimeters. And you can definitely notice that when you're actually trying to pull this thing up with the weight that we've got behind it today. I think it's great. It feels planted on the road. You can definitely feel the width and it's just got a nice size and feeling about driving this thing. You feel planted, you feel stable, you don't feel sketchy. It doesn't feel like the trailer's trying to push me all over the highway. It does feel quite good. So my opinion on, I suppose a lot of people talk about when you're towing and you want to overtake, I think with the power, it's going to be hard to do those fast overtaking maneuvers that you need to do when you have got this thing fully loaded. But at the same time, you shouldn't be pulling those sorts of chances with yourself and with other people in your life with trying to overtake with this thing fully set out at like 8 ton. I think that's just very risky. Got to pick your battles, and yeah, 8 ton flying down the highway, you probably don't want to be doing too much risky stuff anyway. Righto, so what are my thoughts? On the flyers, I'm over them. But on the towing, I think it's quite good. And people are talking about more power. And I think, look, anything with more power is fantastic. It's always great to have more power. But the V6 does this really well. And yeah, we'll get my trailer, we'll load it up, we'll do some proper towing tests, try and get some stats and numbers here at a later date on a dedicated towing video. But for going to work, towing this around, towing your scissor lift around, towing your small excavator around, I think it does it quite well, considering the detune compared to the standard Ranger. But yeah, again, we all want more power, but this is what we've been given, this is what the engine is, and I think for the most part, it feels planted, it feels good, it can tow it, no doubt about it, it can tow. It doesn't feel sketchy, it's not porpoising all over the road, it's yeah, it's quite enjoyable to tow with this thing. Righto, we've got the big tri-axle with all the hay bales on the back, with a single cab Super Duty, and our GCM is 7740 plus me and Matt being in the truck, so which is only 50 kilos each, a light 50, and we'll see how we go with this big tri-axle trailer. This is pushing the limit of what this truck can do. We're just about here to pull up onto the freeway, and we'll put my foot into it and see how we go compared to having the Manitou skid steer and now having our GCM banging on the door. Righto, foot's flat to the floor. Yeah, she definitely knows that this weight's behind her. But you can also feel it in the tune of the vehicle. And you feel like, I think if you did tune this, you definitely could get more power out of it. But you can definitely feel it. It's in the tune of this thing, and yeah, it'd be interesting to see what customers actually do with this thing, and if people do tune it and want to see what power they can get out of it. So the fuel economy now at GCM is 16. We're sitting on 100 right now, just following a truck, and it's doing it with ease. Like, the engine's not revving its head off. The gearbox feels very, very well calibrated to be towing this sort of weight, and the engine's matching it really nicely to where it's not hunting for gears, especially with the 10-speed. It's very nice, very smooth. While you're braking, that transmission coming down in gears at the right time you want it to, and not sort of hunting and jerking as it's coming down. It's very smooth. You definitely notice those bigger brakes. It just pulls up so nicely, especially with that sort of weight behind it. I quite like these things on road as well. They handle quite nice. It has a presence about it, and you can feel it as you're driving it. The width of this thing and the suspension, considering the weight that this thing can actually carry, being at 4.5 ton, it's not what you'd expect on the road. It's very smooth, very composed, feels trucky. It's got a trucky aspect about driving this thing. And I think one of the biggest things that I can notice is how well the engineering team and also the drive dynamics team has gotten the suspension in the Super Duty to be able to carry the weight, for one, but then also being fully unloaded that we are right now in this space cab Super Duty, just how well it can ride on the road with no weight in it at all. It's quite impressive. It comes down to on-road driving with this and the power and performance of it. Like, it's great. This thing is great because we're not towing right now, so we're fully unladen. It's just when you get up to that maximum GCM that we've seen today, where we were pushing the 8 ton, we were right on the limit of the 8 ton on what that vehicle can take. And I just think if you're going to do those sorts of weights and try to tow that sort of load behind it, you should really go to a different vehicle. You definitely need to step up to, say, an F250 Super Duty or something like that, and have a bit extra there up your sleeve, because buying a vehicle where you're always going to be on the limits isn't a good idea. So if you want to be pushing 8 ton every single day, I'd suggest go to an F250. But if you want to run, say, 3 ton behind this thing, 3.5, and a bit of carrying capacity there with a tray and canopy and whatever, this would be great, perfect for that. And yeah, but I think where the real winner is with the Super Duty is going to be work and fleets, and this just being the absolute work truck that it is. So I suppose wrapping up my thoughts here with the Ranger Super Duty, spending 2 days in it, and I think Ford has done an amazing job. Just the length that they've gone to engineer this vehicle and make it just something that stands out on its own, and in a segment that didn't exist and now does. I don't think that it's going to be very easy for other manufacturers to keep up in this space, especially not with how much work they've put into this, how much engineering, how much time, how much effort they've spent with farmers and with heavy industry and mining and construction. They've really gone all out over the past few years to actually spend the time with guys like myself who use trucks like this, but they've got this thing to a point where it does what it does very well, as you've seen from today's video. So that's all from me, from Super Duty heaven. There is so many Super Duties here. It is absolutely awesome, and I really enjoyed driving this vehicle. And am I going to buy one? You'll have to wait to see and find out.